So I am the council representative over the Youth City Council. We have about 60 youth, of which probably 30 come up to the day at the Capitol, and it's such a great opportunity for them to see how our government works. A lot of them, it's their first time to the state capitol, and they're able to meet our local representative and senator. So it's just a good opportunity for them to mingle, kind of see how our statehood started here in Utah, and get a feel for what happens at a state level. I think the biggest reason for them to come up here is to see how different it is up here from the city on a local level. Here, a lot of bills are passed, hundreds of bills, in fact, and they can visually capture that idea and see that they can make a difference in their local, either city or state. They can help write bills. They can get it to their senator or representative, and they really can make a difference. We've actually seen some of our youth in Spanish Fork make a difference, and so this is where they can see that take shape and form.
We're here with the Spanish Fork Youth City Council. STACY, BECK, come over here. I want the camera. I want people in Spanish Fork to see who else is here. Mike Mendenhall, come over here.
Mike.
Brandon Gordon. So we're on day 3 of the legislative session. We're here for 45 days, and your representatives, both your students with our Youth City Council as well as our city councils here. So Stacy's here, Mike Mendenhall's here, Brandon Gordon. And one thing that I think the people in Spanish Fork should know about today, which is a really big deal, is Mike Mendenhall is the president of the League of Cities and Towns. So the League of Cities and Towns is an organization of mayors and city councilmen across the state that represent issues on Capitol Hill. Mike is the president today, and every city, every mayor and councilman, most of them are going to be up here at the Salt Palace. Mike gets to speak. He gets to speak with his group of incredible group of students. I think this is the most we've had. How many do we have today? 26.
Well, we're happy to be here, happy to represent beautiful Spanish Fork up here in the legislature. You guys are awesome.
You guys have any questions? You can ask us anything you want right now. And it's on TV, so
Totally.
if we get it wrong, we're all going to be in trouble. If it's hard, we'll let Senator Henderson answer.
What's all your favorite desserts?
Favorite dessert? Crumble cookies, for sure. Right?
I love a good sugar cookie. Can't complain with a good sugar cookie.
That was an easy one. Any hard questions?
Do you always have to explain your vote, like why you said yes or no?
No, you don't, and thankfully, because it would really take a long time to do a roll call vote if every single one of us stood up every time and explained. So it's just something that we can do in the Senate if we want to, but it doesn't happen all that frequently, just usually on controversial bills. Yeah.
Do they always have a set order, or?
Yes, so they call our names in alphabetical order by our last name. Yeah.
So
Great.
with like several weeks of the session left, what's your favorite thing to do to like get your mind clear, kind of like off the session?
After the session,
Yeah.
you know, my family loves to travel. We love to see movies. I kind of, after the legislative session is over every year, I kind of have this, I need to detox from the political atmosphere. So, but we don't get to this year because it's an election year. So we have to immediately run for re-election this year.
So I'm going to go on a big long run right after session.
There you go.
For sure. That's what I'm going to do.
So how long is the process of like everyone casting their votes and explaining their vote? How long is it?
And usually it's actually really quick. So there's 29 of us, and they usually just kind of go down the list, and we say aye or nay, and it just takes maybe a minute or so. It's not that long, unless it's a more controversial bill, and there are a lot of people that want to explain their votes and take a long time to do that. And you know, there are some more long-winded people up here than short-winded, and so sometimes it can take a while, but usually it's pretty quick.
Maybe that's not.
Yeah.
Just really and truly get involved. I mean, there's really two types of people in life: those that complain about issues and those that actually go out and try to make a difference. So it's cool we're here with the Youth City Council, because all of you care about your community, you're engaged, and just keep that engagement as you go into college. You're going to have opportunities in college to be engaged. When you get done with college, you're going to have opportunities in your city. Just continue to be engaged. We're elected officials. We're just like you. We come up here during the session, but we are a lay legislature. I have a job in Spanish Fork that I go back to. We're members of the same community that you are. And at some point, any of you could replace any of us, and that's the way it should be. These seats don't belong to politicians; they belong to the people of Spanish Fork. That's who we represent. And just truly get involved. This is cool. It's always cool having you up here. I think this is the biggest group I think this is the biggest group we've had so far.
Yeah. If I could add one thing to that, it's important to be involved. Like, you guys are definitely taking a step in the right direction in the governing process, but it's also important to understand the political process, because to get into these positions, it is a political process. So you have to understand that, and the way to do that is to maybe volunteer on some campaigns. This is an election year. It's a great time to get some experience in campaigning and seeing what that looks like and seeing what that process is, and as you get older and go to college and things, to get involved that way. I got my start in politics as a volunteer on a campaign in 2008. I had never done anything in politics before then. And so really that's the best way to get your foot indoors. Make sure you understand the political process and make connections there.
So Senator Henderson, with it being an election year, you could use some volunteers, both of you, right?
We both could. And,
Yes.
and I want to point out, Mike mentioned that he represents Spanish Fork, and he does, Spanish Fork and Salem. I represent actually 9 cities in South Utah County.
It's a lot of work.
So, so Spanish Fork is one of those 9 cities. It's probably the largest population in a single city in my district.
It's clearly the best city in your district. She just doesn't want to say it because
I
the
live in
camera's
Spanish
on.
Fork, and I love Spanish Fork, but I do represent Vineyard, Provo, Springville, Spanish Fork, Salem, Payson, Woodland Hills, and Elkridge as well. And did I say Santaquin? And Santaquin. So
Yes.
those are all my cities. Thanks for being here. It's good to talk to you guys.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
It was super cool that they were just people like me, like you and me. And they let me introduce myself, they shook my hand, and they were interested in what I was interested in. I wanted to intern or help with campaigning, and they offered so many opportunities for me to just be a part of that as a student, as a member of the community, of the younger generation. And they were very open about anything that I could participate in. And it was so cool to see a Utah senator and to shake her hand or talk to one of our representatives and him look me in the eye and welcome me into this community of law and government.
I really liked it because we got to have a first-hand experience about what they see on the floor, and I really liked when the senator brought up the point about when they say yes and no to things, how they have to verbally say it, whereas McKell only had to like press a button, which I thought was very interesting, seeing the different kind of legislative and judicial processes and that kind of stuff.
It means a lot because they see a lot of different things, so they definitely have the contrast between, city to city. Not that like comparing is a big deal, but they definitely see different sides of the story, different side of cities and the likes and dislikes of each, and have them say that they really like Spanish Fork for whatever reasons that they may say. Yeah, it means a lot. Yeah, it's Spanish Fork pride,
Well, it's like Mike McKell said, there's 2 people in the world, and there's people that complain and there's people that make a difference and use those complaints to fuel their inspiration and what they do for government and what they do to make better homes for us, make a better community. As a youth city council member, I just see this as a great opportunity to change the world, to start where I am right now, and there isn't a point where you're just not allowed to be there yet. You can start whenever, and you can start changing the world. So that's why I love doing this, and this is why I love participating and doing service activities and getting to know anybody that I can so I can make a difference.